Whoops. I'm so sorry about that. I hit end on the wrong device.
All right, I am unmuted. Sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry about that. I hit end
No,
on
you're
the
good.
I hit end call on the wrong device. I should have hit it on my I should have exited from the other device. Anyway, it's okay. It's all good. So
Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to basically just speak with me. So
sure,
I
happy
have,
to.
yeah, no, I've gone from in the past like week to 2 weeks, I've gone from not even knowing who you or Ad Zombies were to basically doing an entire deep dive on your background, your history, and everything. And I appreciate pretty much just you taking the time out of your day to just speak with me, someone who's kind of
Always.
just getting started. So
I'm always happy to do that. I mean, you
yeah,
know, if it wasn't for the breaks that I got when I was starting out and people who were able to give me time and help me and mentor me, like if I couldn't do that, then I'd be an ass of a human being. So, and I just like to do this because it really, I know in the beginning, there's always a lot of questions.
yeah,
And, you know, you're trying to navigate things and figure things out. And I'm like, it's so much easier when you have someone who can give you some answers. So anyway, happy to help.
yeah. And I'm like you just said, I'm pretty much just looking for. I'm just in the information gathering stage where
Okay.
I'm, to use a Gary V analogy, I'm still in bed on the day of game day or whatever. Like I'm not even on my way to the Super Bowl yet. Like I'm still in bed. I am so early on in this and just kind of just having fun with it. And
Mhm.
like that's the whole point of it, is just to have fun with it.
It is. I mean, so where are you in that? Like, help me understand where you are
Yeah.
today and where you're wanting to go.
Yeah. So quick backstory. So a couple weeks ago, that's whenever I was kind of looking into copywriting companies in
Mhm.
Gilbert because I was just curious. I stumbled upon Ad Zombies, and then Ad Zombies led me to your name. I saw that you had a website, a book, the whole shebang. I hit contact, and I was like, "Cool, let's see if he even responds." I was pleasantly surprised that you responded, and just happy to be talking with you here. And pretty much, you're the first copywriter, business owner, mentor, whatever you want to call yourself.
Sure.
You're the first person I've actually spoken to. I have
Okay.
logged thousands of hours watching YouTube videos and just self-taught about copywriting, content marketing, brand building, and all that stuff. And pretty much my background, I'm a writer for the defense industry.
Okay. So you're
So
a technical writer.
yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been writing technical manuals, different policies, procedures, just the whole kind of.
Now that's a long burn writing a technical manual, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm currently writing 4 manuals simultaneously. So
Okay.
yeah, but I've written numerous manuals for different defense companies and stuff like that. And while I enjoy it, because I just enjoy writing, it's one of my passions, I guess you could call it.
Right.
I don't really get to write what I want to write. It's more or less like, okay, write this. Like,
Mm.
Carl, go write this. So I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, it pays well and whatnot, and I do enjoy my job. But about 6, 7 months ago, I was on YouTube just learning about stuff and just sort of discovering stuff. And I stumbled upon copywriting, and I was like, I thought it was the legal stuff, like
Mm.
copyright instead of writing. So, but then I
Right.
stumbled upon it, and I was just like, oh, this stuff's really cool. Like actually using your words to make someone take an action, using your words to basically influence someone or inspire someone to do something. And I was like,
Correct.
it just sort of struck a chord with me to want to learn more. So I did a deep dive down the rabbit hole, watched any and every YouTube video, was reading books, was reading like PDFs and just anything I could get my hands on, just learning about it, just having fun with it.
Right.
And then I sort of was like, okay, what can I do with this? And the first thought was like, okay, I mean, I could do freelancing. Maybe I should build my own brand. Maybe I should branch out. Like, I mean, I have zero experience, no portfolio, no nothing.
Yep.
but let's have fun with this. Like, I'm not going to quit my day job, obviously,
No,
because
because
I
the day
have
job pays the bills.
exactly.
Right.
So
But I, and I didn't quit my day job in running my other business. This business built as a side hustle by accident and
yeah,
turned into a multi-million-dollar business. Like, it wasn't until the business got to a point where I went, okay, do I really need to spend my days in wedgie working on client projects that are driving me nuts and dealing with high maintenance asshole clients? Model which is scalable. Sorry, my mic just switched out
oh
for whatever reason. It does that
no, you're fine.
sometimes. Uh, and so, sometimes the side hustle becomes the main thing after you've given it time to grow and to figure out how it's gonna grow for you. I think the first question I have for you is, what kind of writing excites you? Because to me, that's the most important thing. If you're writing stuff that doesn't excite you, it's work. If you're writing stuff that excites you, that, like, for me, anytime I'm told that I need somebody to write a great story for my business, I'm all in. I want somebody to write something that's going to be fun and memorable. That's me. But if it's something that's like technical, like if you asked me to write a technical manual, fuck that. I'm out. I can't, that's just not me. Um, I'm not I'm not the guy that's gonna write a 500-page manual
Yeah.
or however long a manual is. I'm the guy that's gonna write a 60-second, 30-second ad because that's what I came up in.
Yeah.
That's my training is in radio. My training is in visual storytelling with sound. And so storytelling is natural for me. It's in my DNA. And so that's the writing I lean into. Because I would not be good at other types of writing. And if it's like serious stuff or like an ad for a law firm, not for me. Just not.
So
So what is it that excites you?
very similar to you. I like
Okay.
writing stories. I like telling other people's stories. Uh, I sort of picked a niche and something that I'm passionate about, which is craft beer and the
Okay.
brewing industry. So coming from San Diego, I was really into craft beer, and I still am, and I just really, really enjoy it. And I was like, how can I combine that with copywriting? So I picked that niche, and so far I'm really enjoying it. And I just like writing stories. Like, I like telling the story of the guy in his garage brewing beer. I like telling the story of the brewery that grew from a home brewer into a brewing conglomerate. Like, I
Okay.
like telling stories.
Have you have you written a story for a small brewer and given it to them to say, I wrote this for you?
I am in the process of doing that.
What brewer
I
is it, by the way? Because I go to Oceanside a lot.
Yeah.
Oceanside is my summer hangout.
So it's not a brewery. It's actually a bottle shop. Have you heard of Bottlecraft?
I have not.
So Bottlecraft is like they're a bottle shop with multiple locations in San Diego, and I'm actually friends with the owner. He and I used to do jujitsu together.
Okay.
Funny enough,
Beer and
and
tasting room.
yeah, and they focus on like hard to find beers, very craft centric beers, and I reached out to him and said, hey, like, have you ever used a copywriter? And he said, no. Initially, he said, no, I never have, but I know that we could probably use one. So maybe hit me up in a couple months. And a couple months went by. I continued to learn and teach myself. And he reached back out to me and asked me, hey, can you write me an article? Like, can you tell the story of Bottlecraft? Can you tell the story of why we chose to focus on craft beer?
Right.
And I was like, hell yeah, of course I can do that.
I wish
So
I knew about the place because I was just in Oceanside last week and Solana Beach is the closest one.
Yeah,
And I would have gone.
yeah, they have a great selection. I miss living in San Diego mainly for the beer and for Bottlecraft and places like that. So,
So what?
but
And you moved here? Why?
well, my wife and I, we tried to buy a house in San Diego. We tried super hard to buy one, and it just was not in the cards. And we were both working remotely at the time, so we were like, let's try somewhere else. I mean, we're still young. We don't have kids. Let's move somewhere else. And we happened to stumble upon Gilbert, and we were like, kind of like this place. And we found a house and we moved here.
So,
So
are you in a planned community or are you on?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're in a master plan, is I
Mhm.
guess is what they call it. So yeah, we're in one of those, and we were able to buy our first house. So we were super excited about that.
Good. And hopefully you don't have any scorpions yet.
Not yet. No, we haven't seen any yet. So
Okay, good. Hopefully it stays that way. We've, knock wood, we've been in 3 houses in 25 years. We're about to be in our 4th house, and we've never had a scorpion in any of our homes. Now, that
nice.
said, we're moving out to farm property. I think it's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Fingers crossed you don't see any.
yeah, well, I mean, we'll have service and hopefully they'll keep it at bay. Okay, so you're writing for them right now.
Yes.
Are you doing
Yeah,
this as a free gig or a paid gig?
So I gave him like the friends and family discount, and that's where I kind of struggled. Was, I mean, he's a friend, it's a business, and it's like, do I charge for free? Do I charge a rate? And also, I have 0 experience. And I just looking online, people were saying, "Oh, do it for free," and then other people were, "Don't do it for free." So I was just like, you know what? It's not about like, I charged him very, very low, in my opinion, and it was
What'd you
basically,
charge him? We're just having a conversation.
yeah. So I charged him $100.
Okay,
For
super cheap. Okay.
Yep, $100, and I gave him a friends and family 15% discount, just as like a sign of good faith. Is like, hey, like we're friends. I'm doing this for a friend.
Right.
And he was asking for an SEO specific piece of content, something that would help bolster Bottlecraft's SEO presence.
Okay.
So
Now
roughly around,
you're familiar with the way SEO is played today, right?
still learning, but
Okay.
dabbling with it.
Let me answer my wife because she's asking me a
Mhm.
very critical question.
Yeah.
Yes. She wants to know if the dogs got fed. So, because she was out of the house this morning at her chest X-ray, so
Gotcha.
I was responsible for making sure that the beasts got fed, and they did. So, first and foremost, SEO today is not about keywords that the machine is going to pick up on. It's about writing a story that sells the brand to the consumer, to the reader, to the actual person who would be Googling shit and goes, "Oh, wow, this place is really cool. I want to learn more about it." Right? And too many people try to write articles that still use a lot of old school tactics to stuff shit in to make their algorithm better. Don't do that.
Okay.
Make sure that you're writing with the beer drinker in mind. Like I remember 805 when it was still a little tiny beer. Remember 805 when it first
Oh yeah.
started?
Yeah.
Now it's fucking everywhere.
I
Firestone
know.
is like,
They're
but when
huge.
it's right, but when it started, it was like, oh, I found this really cool beer, and like Firestone did a really nice. This 805 is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not special anymore. It's still a good beer. It tastes the same, but the specialness of it is kind of evaporated.
Yeah.
So when you write these stories, when you write for a brewery, when you're writing for SEO, don't write for machines, write for the reader, write for the
Okay.
beer drinker, for the person who loves the beer.
Yeah.
You want to write for them and nothing else. And if the client doesn't understand the value of that, then they're not the right client, number one. Number two, they're getting a lot of bad information. I have people, we write shit for Google. Okay. We write stuff for Google. I can tell you, do you know what drives our SEO up? The blogs that I write that have nothing to do with SEO. Like literally, I have a blog. Hold on, let me pull it up here. And I don't know if you read our blogs at all. And if you do, that's fine. If you don't, I don't care. I'm not like emotional about it. Like literally people are like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read that." I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It just,
Yeah.
but I recently wrote a blog about Oreo thins, right? And it's using incognito mode to stop kids from stealing Oreos. There's nothing SEO valued in that. There's nothing about copywriting in this. There's nothing about, but man, do I know how to tell a fucking story.
Yeah.
And so when people are looking for copywriting companies, and then they want somebody who's going to be good at telling the story, they wind up getting served an ad which sends them to our blog. Then they read this blog, and then they're like, oh, this is pretty good. And what happens after they read that blog? They see a link at the bottom and it says, let's go to the next blog. Oh, Pinterest banned all the weight loss ads. And they literally just they go down the rabbit hole of blog content, and they realize that we're good at telling stories. And there's an ad about why I tested 7 thumbnails. Now that has a ton of SEO value for us, yet there's nothing about copywriting in this blog. It talks about my testing 7 thumbnails. It says, phase 1 consisted of a headline, 1 ad body copy, 1 video, 359 in length, almost 4 minutes, right? But this blog shares expertise, authority, technical writing, like it gives you it's all the meat and potatoes you want. So make sure that your clients understand the value of that. And if they push back and go, no, I want keywords, hire someone from India. We're not going to do it. That's not what we do.
And that's kind of what when I was researching SEO, that very similar to what you were saying, it used to be all about the keywords. And I saw AdZombie, I saw on their Instagram, they posted the joke about, I walked into a bar, brewery, like, I was like, that's funny. Like, as someone who gets it, like, that's funny. But now it's about context. It's about telling the story. It's about, like, your SEO content should be 1,800 to 2,400 words. Like it needs to have body to it.
I just got something, and I'm going to put this out. I'm going to put this out as a piece of content today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write it. I'm just putting it on my board so I don't forget it. Storytelling is the new SEO.
That's a great headline.
Yeah. So I have a board. I have a glass board. I can't turn my computer enough to show. I can lift the camera. I have a glass board right. Come on. Hold on. Maybe it'll readjust. Hello. Why won't it readjust to the light? That's so weird.
There we go.
Anyway, and so I have a glass board next to me. So I'm always writing things throughout the day because my brain, like an idea pops, and I got my dry erase markers and it's to the board immediately. So I don't lose it.
Yeah. I got my notepad and I have memos on my phone of just random miscellaneous notes. And yeah, I feel you.
Random miscellaneous notes.
Yeah, absolutely. I got mine.
That's what storytellers and copywriters do. Okay. So, so far I have not given you shit. So let's.
Oh, I'm not looking for shit. I'm just looking for a conversation.
No. But let's go a little bit further. Because my next call, I've got a YouTube strategy call at 10. So I've got a little bit of extra cushion here. So, what questions do you have for me that I can answer that might help you get further along?
Okay. So my first question is about the whole niche, like picking your niche and niche, however you say it. So I've picked craft beer. Like that's what I'm passionate about. It's what I like to tell stories about. As someone who is brand new to this, would you recommend sticking to your niche and just sticking to it? Or if other work approaches you that has nothing to do with craft beer, would you take that work to build your experience and build your portfolio, or should you just stick to your niche?
Okay.
Being as green as I am.
So here's what I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the marketing space talks about niching down, right? Getting into your niche and your that's your space. Yeah. There are 8,764 craft breweries in the United States. I just Googled it. I had to know. Based on that, is there enough work for you to sustain the lifestyle you desire with 8,764 craft breweries? If 10% work with you, just 10%, that's 876. If 1% work with you, that's 87. Is that enough to sustain you? If the answer is yes, focus on that niche. But I would never turn away work. The only work I turn away is work that doesn't speak to me. Like we'll get we get random clients who don't want to go through the buying process online with us. And they think that if they talk to our team, they're going to get some different deal or it's why we don't have a phone number attached to the business. I don't want calls from people. We're an online e-commerce business. Find what you need, order the copy, we will write it for you. When someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I have this project that I want you to write," all of a sudden the price for that jumps up dramatically. If you want me to touch your copy, you're going to be spending $5,000 at a minimum for me to write your shit. Not because I'm the greatest copywriter in the world. I'm a grammatic fuck up. I put commas in places they don't belong, but I know how to tell a fucking story. And that's where the value is. And I've got decades of experience doing it. And so when you say you don't have experience, that's bullshit. You do. You have tons of experience. You have been a technical writer for how many years now?
About 5 years.
5 years as a technical writer. How many documents have you written in 5 years?
I can't count.
Right? You have experience.
Yeah.
Your experience isn't in your passion. Your experience is in the work that you do to pay the bills. Well, now you get to choose. I can work a little bit in the stuff that I'm not passionate about because it pays the bills. And then I can also build my business focusing on the stuff that I'm passionate about, craft beer, which eventually could pay the bills. And then all of a sudden, you might discover, like, Carl gets a phone call from a fucking winery that says, "Hey, we see the shit you're doing with craft beer. We want you to work with us." Same vertical, different drink. Like
Yeah.
So I would never say no to doing more than one vertical. I would never say no to not being in your niche. I like having a niche because that's your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I won't say no to it unless it's so far out of the zone of things that I want to write that it just feels icky to me. Right? It's just, what feels icky to you. Like if an attorney came to me tomorrow and said, "I need you to write the content for my website. I'm willing to pay you $25,000. I want you to write it." I'd be like, "I'm not going to take your $25,000 because this just doesn't." Now, if the attorney with the tats who does accident injury law and he's a biker came to me and said, "Hey man, I want you to like really do a fresh spin and redo all of my," yes, all day, because I know I can push the envelope creatively and get into my zone of excellence, right? Because my creative zone is very different from the normal person. And so for me to write something that's boring and flat, well, I call it boring and flat. If I was writing a technical document, I would hang myself. Okay. It's just how we're wired. So stay in that zone of excellence for you, which if craft beer is your thing, great. Let that be your niche, but don't say no to others.
Okay.
That was a long answer for a short question.
That was great. And to kind of play off your creative comment, like brewers in general are very creative people. Like there's a lot of creative people in the craft beer industry, whether from like packaging, the can art, the descriptions, like coming up with the recipes. Like I want to share in that creativity. Like I like telling stories. I like being creative with my writing. Right. And like that's where I feel I can help. But which kind of transitions into my next question. How do you not convince isn't really the right word. How do you get someone to know, like how would I get a brewer to know that they need what I'm offering?
Here's what you do. This is where writing the freebie comes in.
Okay.
I would find a brewer that is small, that you find something that you go, "Man, I really want to help them with this," and write it and say, "Listen," and then in your introduction to them, you say, "Listen, I'm a craft beer junkie. I'm a craft beer aficionado, however you want to say it. I love craft beer. I'm a writer and I spend my time in this space, and I saw your website and I thought, man, I could do such a great job for them. I decided to just write this for you. Here it is. feel free to use it. If I can help you with other stuff, let me know. And then and give them your number, whatever, but there's nothing attached to that offer. It's just, here it is. I'm giving it to you. Why? It's the same way I built Ad Zombies.
Yeah.
I didn't have an expectation of like this guy who I helped rewrite the plastic surgery ad for is going to suddenly go, let me pay you to write my ads. No, I helped him fix the ad. Other people saw what I did. Those people then said, how did you learn to write like that? Which started a business.
Yeah.
Right. That's where giving something away, and people say, well, that devalues you. No, it doesn't devalue. I just wrote a fucking ad for free yesterday. We have clients that pay us every day. I wrote an ad for someone, and I am the most expensive of the copywriters. We wrote an ad for someone. I wrote the ad. It was I saw the thing and I'm like, oh man, I can just crush this. And I sat down and in 5 minutes crafted an awesome ad for this guy. And I sent it back to him through our system. And we got an amazing review. Like, this company is fucking incredible. Like, why? Because A, I know that it's going to help his business. B, I know he now knows that I'm the one who wrote it, which puts that word of mouth street value much higher. But I'm not asking for anything in return. I just did it. I did it because I felt like it was speaking to me. And so I find something that speaks to me. Ignore the placeholder copy. Okay, got it. It's just my team sending me something and I'm not responding to email, so they're just texting it to me.
Yeah.
So, I think if it speaks to you, let that be the litmus test of, should I write it? And then write one or write two. It's not going to cost you anything other than your time. And that's how you build. And then you can go to others and go, listen, I wrote this piece for this company. I wrote this piece for this company. When I got the M&M's commercial years ago, I didn't get the M&M's commercial by saying, please let me do the ad for you. I was the one who said, okay, I have an opportunity to produce a commercial for M&M's. What if I made the commercial and then presented to them a finished commercial, rather than, here's my concept. Let me show you my storyboard. Let me walk you through what I envision. No, instead, I'm like, we're going to make a fucking commercial. And I made the commercial. It cost me very little to make the commercial, like under 10 grand. It was worth the investment.
Yeah.
Because I knew that even if I didn't get it, I'd have the credibility of, hey, here's the ad I made for M&M's. That M&M's ad helped me get Budweiser as a client and allowed me to write multiple concept ads for Budweiser, one of which they wound up taking and using. So you never know what that one good deed is going to do for you, but don't go in with the expectation of having it become a windfall. Go in with the expectation of just giving value and just watch what happens, because that's the way the world works.
Yeah. And that's like listening to your content, listening to Gary Vaynerchuk's content, and like a bunch of other people's content. It seems like the best route is just doing something that adds value, doing something that helps others. And that's kind of what I'm trying to go for with this. And like finding something that I'm passionate about and just writing stories, helping other people tell their stories, because not everyone can tell stories. Not everyone is good at writing. Like there's a lot of things that I'm terrible at that other people are amazing at. Like, and that's the story of everybody. And yeah, I guess that's where I'm just trying to go with it. And like I said, I'm only like 6 months in. I came up with the name for my business on the drive home. I came up with a couple names, ran them by my wife, and she was like, I like that one. Go with that one. I was like, okay, cool. So I just started playing around with it, and I was listening to your to the audiobook of your Jab Till It Hurts book, and you were talking about like how quick it is to just set up a basic website and just do all this other stuff. Right. And that's what I did. Like I spent $100 on a domain name, bought the domain name, built my website, added some fun pictures, came up with my services, and I was just like, what am I good at? Like, what could I offer? And kind of went with it from there. And yeah. And
Send me the link. I want to see it.
yeah, absolutely. No, I would love to. And yeah, I just getting other people to see it. I mean, it's gotten positive feedback from like friends and family, but granted, I don't know if they're just being nice, but who knows?
Right. Friends and family are not a great indicator of
Exactly.
Here's why. They're always going to tell you they love it. It's great.
Like, oh, it looks nice.
Right. They're supporting you, which is great.
Exactly.
The reality is it's the consumer that needs your service that's going to make that determination.
Yeah.
And if that consumer sees the value, they're going to transact with you. You know, it's funny when I look at, and I'm very critical of my own website, right? I look at adzombies.com and I'm like, okay, do I take myself seriously as a copywriter? Like when I look at this and I'm like, but no, I don't. I'm a fucking storyteller and my website tells stories. And so I look at this and I go, if you like the style, if you like the quirkiness, if you like, right, it tells you you're working with a company that does things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, then we're the right company to have you to write your shit. And if we're not, fuck off. Go to Carl.
Yeah.
Right?
The first time I went to Ad Zombies website, I was just like, honestly, the first word that comes to my mind is like, okay, this is different. Like in a good way. Like it's different. It's not, hey, these are my services. Like this is about me. Like I was trying to do something a little bit different with my website, but it kind of still seems a little run of the mill. But at the same time, I have one friend / client who I'm writing one story for. And it's like, I'm not in growth mode, as you say. Like right. I'm not there yet. And I'm totally fine with that. Like I'm okay making $0. And
you're in the baby steps.
Exactly. Like I'm okay just having fun with this and writing stories that are fun to me. And that actually transitions into my third question, if that's okay.
Yes. No, please.
So writing stories, having fun with it, whether I'm writing for a client or I'm writing for myself. So I started a little blog. Like I have a blog tab on my website where
what's the website so I can go to it right now?
Yeah. So the website is Pints Up, Pens Down. So,
oh, I love that.
Yeah. So pintsupPensDown.com.
So you've already done something that you've niched yourself just in the website.
Yeah.
Whoops. I cannot type. You know what it is? Because the microphone's right in front of me. So I'm like trying to type around the microphone.
And fortunately, because it's unique enough, if you just type in Pints Up, Pens Down in the Google search, I'm like the top 5 searches on Google. So I guess that's a win.
Yep. What platform did you build this on?
WordPress.
WordPress. Okay. So you're a nerd enough that you can do WordPress.
Yeah. I kind of just picked it. I was watching YouTube videos. What website builder is the best for someone who wants to write? And it was either WordPress. I know you like Squarespace.
Carl, it's only because I'm not a technical guy.
Yeah.
Carl, I have a thought, and if you hate the thought, that's okay. So you have Pints Up, Pens Down, and says you do the brewing, we do the writing. You brew, we write, they drink.
Oh, I like that.
This is what people pay me for.
Yeah, I like that.
That's my secret weapon. I can see something and just dial that message in. You brew, we write, they drink. You, we, they.
I like that.
You brew, we write, they drink. To me, that like really, craft beer copywriting services. Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Pints Up, Pens Down. I'm gonna have to pimp you to craft beer people that I know.
Because no, I appreciate that.
I couldn't write I could write a craft beer ad, but like I don't know. I can't tell you like hops and barley and like the process. Here's my process.
Yeah, you just like yeah.
That's my process.
Hey, that's how my process started too. And I was like, I like this, and I just kind of started learning about craft beer, and it's just living in San Diego was a blessing because it just introduced me to an entire new world of just not just your typical like, oh, I have a Bud Light. Like it was just
Also,
it's a whole new world.
Carl, brand your fucking instead of contact us, start a newsletter, start a weekly thing, call it the weekly hop, the micro brew word, the micro word, something that is industry specific, that has value to these guys, that helps them understand the value of good copy. Create a, for lack of better terms, a newsletter, but a weekly piece of content that you religiously write. Like it's so funny. I'm telling you this. I've sucked at the last month and a half. Like I am not putting out content. And part of it is summer vacation. And part of it is my head's been really noisy and busy. And so I recognize when I get in my own head, because I still do, we all do occasionally. And I need to not do that. But you create something that feeds value to the industry, where someone's going to go, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about. And the beer blog could be, if you have the beer blog already, so instead of having a sign up or whatever on the homepage that doesn't do anything other than contact us, why would I contact you? Right? Versus an action. Sign up for the whatever you call it, brand it. And then every week when you write a new blog, that blog immediately gets put into your drip email campaign, so that you're always bringing new content to microbrews.
Gotcha. What do you guys use for a drip email content? Like, do you use MailChimp or what?
We're on MailChimp.
MailChimp. Okay.
Yeah. It's just when I started this company in my home, I didn't have like, okay, well, I'm going to use this platform and this. I'm like, what the fuck is easy? What can I do that I'm not going to fuck up?
Yeah.
And
it's exactly how I feel.
Right. And so I started with stuff that I wasn't going to fuck up. All right. I know how to build a Squarespace website. I built that. And my partner that I brought in, he was like, I don't know if the Squarespace thing is going to work. But what he wound up doing is, over time, he's like, oh, wait a second, I can hack this and customize that. And he says, no, this can work. And I'm like, great. So, and now I don't want to change anything, because if I do a site colon, let me see, site colon Squarespace, site colon, we have 387 pages on our website.
Wow.
Like, I don't want to get rid of that, or because if I do, I have to recreate 387 pages. Let me just double check that. 437 pages. There's 437 pages. It's a lot of fucking pages.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm still. A good friend of mine, he's like, he builds websites. Like he started his whole company for like building websites and stuff like that. And I was talking to him actually a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, have you done like Google Search Console? Have you done Google indexing and like have you created a sitemap? And I'm just like, I don't know what any of that stuff is. Like, so I'm still working on that as well, and just like trying to get all of that back end stuff set up, because I mean it's basically, this whole thing is just me by myself, and then I bounce the ideas off my wife, and she says that's a good idea, that's a bad idea, and that's pretty much it. So that's why I'm just researching and just talking to anybody who's willing to talk to me and just ask questions, and it's just been super beneficial to just talk to people. So
don't look for feedback and opinion. Trust your instinct.
Okay.
Trust your instinct. Your instinct will tell you without fail what the right thing is. Okay. And don't like listen to the voice in the back of your head that says, I don't know. Just ignore that. Because you know instinctively what to do. And most people then talk themselves out of something. So
I'm trying not to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Just go with your gut instinct. My gut instinct has never, 54 years, 100% perfect track record.
Yeah.
So if at 54, I still go, you know what? My gut's pretty good. I'm going to stick with my gut.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, like I literally looking at this today, if I wanted to switch platforms to anything, It's 437 pages that have to be recreated from scratch. Dude, I am married to Squarespace at this point.
Yeah.
I am so deep. I'm coming out the other end of Squarespace because like we're literally I can't get we got too much shit there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to create 437 redirects for pages that go away but like we got a lot of, and by the way, that's all super valuable for Google.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Oh yeah, because if you rebrand or if you change any of that stuff, then your spot in Google pretty much is going to change as well. So
Yeah. Facebook ad copywriter. Let's see. So Fiverr still comes up above us. Our, SEO is a kind of a weird game. I don't really pay attention to it on a daily basis. Our shit just pops and it doesn't. There are other companies right now in this space, so everybody's fighting for first position, but I have something that they don't have. I got zombies. And so people remember that. So like if I look at how people find us, and I can look at my Google Analytics and I can tell you like the number one search things, they type in zombie ads, word zombies, like they're looking for us because they know the name zombies.
Yeah.
That's a win. And I know I've got a call and coming up in 15 minutes. They're texting me reminders. Let me just make sure they don't need me to confirm. Nope. Okay, good. All right, cool. Let's go 5 more minutes until 50. Yeah. Let's go to till 50, and then I'll have a 10-minute break before that call.
Absolutely. No, I just appreciate the time. So, but going on like any of that content that I create on like my own personal blog, even if it's not for a client, can I use that as a portfolio? Like,
Absolutely.
Can I use? You can. Okay.
What, is it like? Is there a rule somewhere that says you can't?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Right. No, of course you can.
Yeah. No one ever, like I was looking that up and it's just like, oh, I have no portfolio. And I'm just like, well, I've written a ton of stuff. Like,
sure you do. You have a huge portfolio.
Yeah.
And
just for my own
personal, credible stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, cool. And then like also listening to your content and like Gary Vaynerchuk's content and all that other content, everyone keeps talking about like, okay, content is king. Like you got to make content. So I've sort of started the idea that in addition to helping clients write stories and do this business, I also want to build my brand by developing content for YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, like being in all those content spheres. And I was listening to one of your videos when you were talking about your 5 content pillars. And I listened to your 5 and I was like, okay, cool. Like I should come up with my 5. Nice.
There's my content pillars.
There you go. So my last question was, I just wanted to tell you my 5 content pillars and just get your feedback.
Sure.
And that was it. So my 5 content pillars, whether I'm making an Instagram post or a YouTube video or whatever I'm making, my 5 content pillars are beer, brand marketing, business development, writing, and travel.
Okay.
And I just wanted that was my initial like draft, just whatever came to my mind first. I threw it on the page and I just wanted to get someone else's feedback.
So what do you know? What's your expertise in brand development?
So basically it's like documenting my own personal brand development, like not so much experience. Like I have 0 experience in developing a brand other than my own personal experience. So that was more or less like a documenting the journey.
Okay.
Same with business development.
Got it. I think it's what the content that resonates for you is what drives the answer to that. I can't answer whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. It's what do you share? Like what's right? It's based on the stuff that you put out there. So I'm not a good person to answer that. Only you are.
Okay.
So that's why I say trust your gut, not feedback from others, because their feedback it's personal. It's their own opinion, but it doesn't necessarily have value. Like if I listen to the feedback I get from people all the time, my website wouldn't look the way it does. My
Yeah.
business wouldn't have the attitude it does. I wouldn't write ads for us that have Jesus saying, "We are your copywriting savior." Have you seen that ad?
Yeah.
And like, or the one shot where we do an M&M takeoff and people are like, dude, like with all this COVID stuff, you have the ball. Yeah, I do have the balls to do that. And fuck you for noticing. And thank you for noticing. And do business with us because we're badass and we do that shit. Right.
Awesome.
So I have a very different take on how to the type of content and what it should look like. And, you know, Caitlin, my director of content marketing, she's got her own vision and version of that. Megan has her own version of that. I'm sure Brandon, even though he doesn't chime in, has his own vision and version. Oh, he doesn't have much of a vision. He's not creative, but he's super technical. But you know, there's opinions don't matter.
Yeah.
It's you and you what works for you that matters.
Gotcha.
So, all right.
Awesome.
Do you have my cell phone number?
I think so. It's on your website, isn't it? Like your personal.
It's on my yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Okay.
Shoot me an email anytime. I'll make sure that I respond. Make sure you have my cell phone number. And if you have questions, hit me up.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I seriously appreciate even responding to me and just taking the time to talk with me. So really appreciate it, Ken. Thank you.
Happy to. And congratulations on moving to the hottest place on earth.
Thank you. Yeah. Experiencing the monsoons has been interesting.
I'm sure. But we were just in Oceanside and I do miss that 70-degree weather, but
yeah,
there's something to be said. So you've not been through a winter here yet.
Well, kind of like the December, January, it got cold. We were pretty surprised how cold it got. So
yeah. So one full winter you'll experience. So our best weather starts around October 15th, 20th, 30th, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And from that point on, life is glorious. And
nice.
Until May.
Yeah, that sounds about right because we loved it. We were like, oh, like jeans, a light jacket, like going outside every night for a walk. Like it was awesome. And then May hit and we were just like, oh boy, what did we move to? So
right, but you get 7 months of amazing.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And then you have a few months that suck.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. All right, I'm gonna get ready for my next call.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great chatting with you. I will download this video and send you a link and you can just go grab it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.